Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special episode of the Until Dawn podcast. As always, my name is Coy, and with me is my number one co-host, Felicia.
Hello.
All right, so we spoke briefly about this on our last podcast, how we had a kind of a special episode planned where Ghostly Talk, American Hauntings podcast, and us kind of all got into a room and collaborated at the end of Saturday night. After drinking a lot.
Oh my gosh, a lot. I don't ever drink. And I drank a lot.
It was, so it's kind of random. We kind of are all over the place. But we all kind of got together and talked about podcasting and kind of...
I don't think we talked about ghosts at all.
No. They may have before. We don't actually show up because we were on the dinner tour. So we showed up about 20 minutes into this. But yeah, I don't know if we ever got into talking about...
I don't remember what we talked about, to be honest.
I do remember Cody from American Hauntings podcast talking about how that podcast got started, and I'm pretty sure we kind of talked about how we got going.
Yeah.
And I don't know what else we talked about. But it was a lot of fun. It was a really good time.
It was fun.
And
I met new people.
We did. We made new friends.
Great. Yep.
You talked a little bit. Pretty sure.
Probably. I don't know. I was drinking. I probably did talk. I'm a super quiet person.
So this is kind of, it's very raw, really unedited. So you may not want to listen to this one at work,
or with your kids,
or your grandparents, or your parents. Maybe just listen to it with headphones on.
Right.
But like I said, it was a lot of fun, and I definitely think it's something we're going to try to do every year at the Haunt America conference.
Right. Yep.
So we'll see you guys. I guess we won't see you. We'll
talk to you again.
There you go. We'll talk to you again after this.
A sudden draft from a window that was supposed to have been closed. A chill at the back of the neck. Groans, creaks, and bumps in the night. Man has always been frightened by the dark. Troubled by noises just beyond the reach of lights. Occurrences just beyond the reach of understanding.
Yay! Yay!
Cody's here for the American Hauntings podcast.
Yay!
Leah's here.
Yay!
Why'd she get such a louder cheer?
The power of the vagina.
Same.
That's how it works.
Shout outs.
Big Money Becky Ray's here.
Woo!
Amber's here.
That. I know, we really didn't.
Don't even notice the Amber at all.
I know, I was the only one that went, yay! Yay, Amber! Woo!
Bonnie's here.
Woo! No one's pregnant.
No one. Not yet.
Hopefully.
Well,
Yeah.
you know,
Scott's going to get pregnant.
I want to start with that.
I'm getting Scott pregnant tonight.
Yeah, I don't want to get pregnant. No, we kind of, however this recording gets edited up and chopped up, because there'll be plenty of chopping.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
We were talking about...
What? I'm starting my art piece. I love it. It started with a coat hanger.
Because that's great radio.
Oh, no. Art makes great radio.
Drawing art on a piece of paper.
But it's a beautiful
So
bloody
the last number we had was 27.
Yeah.
People in your family, and that's immediate people.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were trying to find a way for Bonnie's family just to stop fucking. I mean, I don't think we're really going to come
Apparently it's an issue for Scott.
Well, it's troubling.
Why?
Again,
We know how
I already
to have a
said
good time.
the city you guys live in, they're already straining on their natural resources.
We don't all live in the same city. We all live downriver, but we don't all. Oh,
And
shit!
I said
forgot
downriver.
some.
Okay, so recount it.
Fuck! I forgot a whole family.
What?
Bonnie's family kind of like they divide up in tribes,
Right.
and they have their own little
Apparently.
huts and villages and stuff. It's different because they have to try to keep the purity in the bloodline. Yeah, they all have swords and shit.
Add 7 more. 34.
Damn.
Oh my god. Okay.
Damn.
See, I'm not bullshitting,
Yeah,
Cody.
yeah.
I told you, I'm
I
dead
don't think there are
serious.
34 members in my blood family alive. That's counting like my parents who were in the
I
80s.
don't have 34 friends or family. I just,
Right.
I know
That's a lot.
I don't know 34 people.
That is a lot of people.
I think, Becky, you came in last night.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, like, you crashed.
She
Like,
snuck in like a
we
freaking
had no idea
ninja.
you were here.
Well, I was here and I have a broken back. So
Like,
cut
they
me some
broke,
slack.
like,
I literally have a broken
they
spine.
broke your back. Like, you don't
Yes.
have a broken back. Like, well, you have
I was
one
having
now.
back surgery and they cracked my
They
my
broke your
back
back.
during my surgery.
Yeah.
So So
That's a good
so
job.
cut me some slack. But yeah, I was here and I was like, ready to party, woo! And I was like, I don't know where everybody is. And I was like, nobody's texting me, I don't know where everybody is. And I was like, you know what? I'm really tired. And I went to bed.
Now, for the listening, like the people listening,
Uh-huh.
whoever is listening, you're one of our oldest friends.
Absolutely,
on our
yes.
show. You've been around.
I go way
You've been around since
back.
day one.
Yes.
Back in like
Way
1847
back
when
like
we
when
started.
we all liked each other.
Way
Yeah.
back when radio
Well,
was
yeah.
first invented.
We still had that honeymoon thing going with the show, and we were all like really friendly and nice.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I go back.
Yeah, you do.
I do.
Hey.
Scott wasn't yelling at me for my family to stop fucking way back
Well,
then.
your family wasn't fucking back then.
Oh yeah, they were.
And they were-
Yeah, they were.
Well, you and Laura Moon,
Mm-hmm.
you know, who unfortunately, I mean, I don't want to open up old wounds, but yeah, she's no, and I think you said
5 years. In November, she'll have been gone 5 years.
And she was,
That
another
blows
old,
my mind.
another old friend. You guys
Absolutely.
were tight. You
We
guys
go
were
back.
fucking tight.
Wait, yeah, absolutely we were.
Yeah.
I was at her house every week.
Yeah.
I ate dinner at her house several days a week.
And you're right. Like you guys, your show, you guys did.
We were
together,
loosey-goosey.
It was loose. It was like
It was like this every week.
And this is really loose we're getting used to being this loose with our show. We spent a lot of years, like we were talking earlier, Cody. We spent a lot of years, like really, just like
Well, see, that's
regimented.
when we
hard,
started
you know?
Darker Side. We were like, okay, we've got these guests on tonight, and they're authors. We got to get their books read this week so we can ask them questions, and we're prepared. And we've got questions, blah 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 blah. And then our show kind of changed to where the first half hour was just Laura and I just bullshitting, and we realized because we did our show live that after that first half hour was over, our listeners just disappeared. As soon as the guest came on, it was like, bye-bye.
Well,
and so we stopped having guests, and we just bullshitted for the whole show.
We found that people would say that. I mean, I like to think that when we were like in the old format of the show before we like went on whatever hiatus, hibernation. I like to think that we did get really interested. I mean, I know I personally,
Took it seriously.
I booked a lot. I booked a lot of the guests, and I really, because it was. And this is going to sound, I'm going to take shit for this, I know I am, but it got to a point.
In 3, 2, 1.
It got to a point, like 10 years, like towards the end 10 years ago, where, I mean, it would be easy for us to like just have a different ghost hunting group every half an hour, right?
Right.
And, look.
Well, that changed too, because when we first started, that wasn't the way it was.
Yeah, well,
there wasn't like a ghost hunting group on every corner.
Yeah, well, it's not the shit on groups at all. And I know especially nowadays, it may appear like I do that a lot, and I don't mean it.
All do.
I think people that go when I go out there and try to organize and do something, it's a great thing. But to me, when you're trying to do a show like a podcast or a radio show, whatever it was now or yesterday or whatever it was, you want to have interesting content,
right? That people want to listen to.
And while I do find. And you know what? Okay, fuck it. It was a failed experiment to a certain degree when it came to that. I tried doing that. Mm-hmm. We tried doing that back in the day where we just had a lot of ghost hunting groups on. And frankly, so this is where we're investigating and this is what we're doing.
Same old, week after week. And people stop listening. People don't care.
Yeah,
the only people that listened were the people who were in that group.
Or friends
of them.
In that
right.
group.
And that's, but again, that's not to, beat up on people like that.
No, it just doesn't make good radio.
There were a bunch of people that we had over the years where they had something really interesting to talk about, something that was going on, and they would approach us, or we'd see something and say, hey, let's talk about that. You got a really cool photo. You got some really interesting audio. Let's talk about this for a half an hour or whatever. But I know when we were in that old format, I really was like trying to find and we've talked about that a lot. Like we had people that were, about the Caddy assassination. Like I wanted to talk about all kinds of weirdness, like weirdness from all over the map. And, that's why I know things we had some shows that really went into the weeds. And going to that point, like the looseness, now we've come back to this thing after many years and we're doing it again. And
every show goes in the weeds.
It's loose as
But that's
hell.
what makes a good show. That's what people want to listen to. People want to have a good time when they're listening to podcasts. If it's just same old.
But going to your point though too, you said like your first half an hour, it was just you guys just bantering back and forth. And when we came back to do this thing again, that's one of the things we discussed was like, okay, we're not going to really focus on having guests all the time. We're going to just, a lot of time, just come in here and riff on a subject. And we might fuck it up. We usually do fuck it up.
And we do fuck it up.
That's what editing's for.
Yeah, well, no, we don't.
Well, we don't even add that. And that's when you come back the next week and you go, okay, last week we said this. And
the way it works now, I mean, back in the day, it was very, I had a lot of post-production. It was very organized. Now, I like to say I keep it to a very, very bare minimum when it comes to doing a show. So, every once in a while, it's like, oh my God, that was ridiculous. We just cannot let that slide out there. That's got to go, pop it out, right? But that happens very rare nowadays. But it's very loose, and it's more, we figured, you know what, let's just go with it and, just talk.
Yeah.
And people dig it.
They do.
People seem to really dig that idea. And I do like talking to experts or people who have more experience than us in some certain discipline or idea. But, it's fun just to kind of, have your own perspective on it, too.
Right.
But we do like talking to people like Troy, or Rosemary was on the show not too long ago also. It is fun talking to these people. Are not only people that we look up to and respect. They're friends.
Right.
They're really good friends of ours.
And it makes a big difference.
And it does make a huge difference, that I think, moving on to that, and like you and Laura's idea, that was the right way to go with that.
Well, we just fell into it and we're like, you know what, let's just do this. And then, because we didn't get paid for doing it, so why aren't we just going to have fun with it? And that's kind of what...
Yeah, when you don't have a boss...
Right. We were the bosses.
Yeah.
We had a boss, though, back in the day.
Right.
Scott. Spreadsheet Scott. Spreadsheet Scott. Be honest.
What?
You were the boss.
Yeah, I was.
Exactly.
Still am.
Well, we started out that way. We'd have a whole format. Here's our time clock of... First 10 minutes of the show is going to be this, and then we're going to take 5 minutes to do this, and then we're going to do 20 minutes to this, and then we're like, well, this is bullshit.
Doug and I did a project with Ghostly Talk for a very short time.
The first 13.
Well, no, there was the first. No, I'm talking about neoclassic Ghostly Talk. We did this little thing. We tried doing it where Doug and I actually tried to do the show on a real radio clock.
Right. Yeah.
And it was fucking painful because, my idea with this is to get into a thought thread and run with that and explore
you can't do that
when you got to take a break every 10 minutes or do a liner thing every 15 seconds or whatever. I don't know. I gained a new respect for actual real broadcasters.
Well, see, I come from that. That's where I came from.
Yeah. Do it on a radio clock. I do it on a radio.
Yeah, I worked for actual, what do they call it? Terrestrial radio.
Terrestrial radio.
And we had a clock, and it was old school, and it was not fun.
I mean, I imagine if you do it for a living, that's you're going to master
your job,
that craft.
So you do what you're
going to master that craft, and you're going to be able.
Right.
You're going to be able. I think when you're trying, like I said, when you're trying to take an idea, whether you're talking to someone or not, and you're trying to explore that idea, it's very difficult to keep getting knocked off your train of thought and to come back to it.
We gotta pop in the sponsors.
From my sponsors.
I gotta take 15 for station identification.
Yeah, and we never got that. There was some things we were working on back, in the old days where we were gonna maybe take the show and do something with it, and it got to a point every time where we're like, they want us to do all this crazy shit, we'll just keep doing the punk rock thing. Let's just keep doing the DIY thing and do it on our own. And
you gotta go with sponsors.
I'm
and
happy
sponsors
we never
start dictating what you're doing.
I'm happy we
that's
never
just
did.
not
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. I'm happy we never did that. To this day, you know, who knows? We could have made a bunch of money.
Right. Probably could have.
Yeah, we probably.
But
could
it
have.
wouldn't have been nearly as fun.
No, and we don't have. You know, we were able to pick the thing back up and do it again, and you know, just do it for fun. And
Right.
what we're doing here, and hey, we got a hotel room out of it. That's pretty cool.
So, random interject. One of the things we were doing this particular conference was getting people to sign this massive art book I have with random bits of advice, wisdom, and lunacy. And looking at this right now, the first one I want to look up is this guy that says, "Keep looking at Weird Dad updates."
What's that about?
I don't know,
What?
but I want to know more about Weird Dad updates. It's
We don't read
weird.
all those because we want to do a show.
I know,
on
but
that.
it's weird_dad_updates. So we'll start doing our research early on that one.
Oh, the phones are
I have
already
no
out.
internet in here.
The
There it goes.
smartphones
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like,
So
where's
I
my
really want
Wi-Fi
to see
go?
what you were drawing.
Weird
Oh,
dad.
God, it's bad. Wow.
How many
We
pages did we get?
We
My
just
God,
we have the bloody coat hanger.
Come on, who put the coat
And then
hanger
we
What's the
have
whole thing
a
on
picture of
Reddit?
Michigan.
Weird
and
Dad updates is a Reddit.
In West Michigan, it's heaven. I don't know. Southwest Michigan is just what's this. Then we have up north with fudge and poop. And then hell over here in Detroit area. And then Spitlerville with sperm and eggs. And then there's a lake.
Real Canadians.
Yeah, you crossed over into Canada, and there's real Canadians, and they have condoms. But Spitlerville
Canadian-
can't get over the lake.
Oh, that does not say Canada. That says Canada.
Chlamydia, Canada.
I thought it said Canada.
Okay.
You do that.
Canada. We're the
You do that,
Canadians who
Amber?
hammered it.
Right.
Oh my
She drew the
God.
beautiful hanger.
Yes.
And then Bonnie's comment from earlier that had to do with something last year. Maybe he'll rape you twice.
Oh, we're gonna go dark.
We're not
Again.
going there.
Let's not go
We're
dark.
not going
That
there.
was just, I thought I'd preserve that comment.
But that is a comment from this weekend
Leah, if
that
you wanna make
we
your
need to remember.
First drink we make, but whatever you want to make it, you
still got half.
you just dip in. You just dip into the trough.
I played. She looks so innocent.
No, that's
I'm gonna drink
I
all
found
your-
that
That's
idea
my
too, like
sit
just
down.
going into it and just
Right.
riffing.
Mhm.
It's all illusion.
I think that's what podcasts are supposed to be.
I do too. I
Yeah.
I think that was the whole point was no sponsors, no bosses, just
Yeah.
do it. Just have
Strip it
fun.
down and just go with it. You know, and I think we've talked about podcast, like Cody, we've been talking about podcasts, and Coy, who should be joining us here pretty soon. We talked about podcasts, all weekend, and what are they supposed to do, and what are they about? And obviously they have. You start with subject matter.
Right.
For this arena, of course, it's the paranormal. But what is it supposed to do? And my thing has always been, okay, this is an unfiltered format. And you should, this can go like 15 different directions as far as an idea. But mainly unfiltered, mainly available at your discretion. And that's also for the people producing the content, too. That's what I know brought me back to this, is like, well, we can do this thing anytime we want.
Right.
We don't have to be on any type of schedule or be disciplined to a certain degree, because, I think when you get older, at least me, I'm like, I got enough shit that I have to be at and, do here. Like,
Well, then it becomes like a job.
well, that, yeah.
I got to do it at this
Well,
day.
that's why
at
I
this
can't
time.
watch TV shows.
Right. Well, that's why DVR.
That's why I can't do a bowling league. I can't do anything like
Well,
that.
you can't DVR your bowling league.
Well, yeah, and then when people say it to me, I'm like, well, that costs money, and I don't want to spend it. But the idea of like, well, I got to be sitting on this couch at 9:00 every Sunday night, it just really isn't appealing to me. Excuse me. And being somewhere at 6 p.m. every Sunday night, which we did for a number of years,
Right.
it was fun. But like we've said that, I think we may have said that before, like recently, like we get a week off, and I was like, oh man.
You don't want to go back.
Well, I do want to go back, but I really enjoyed like
Not having to
having
be
a
there,
having
yeah.
a night free. Or the few times I got sick, I was like, wow, holy shit. And he just
And
lay
I
in this
mean,
bed and cough. That's great.
As much as we traveled back in the
Right.
day,
Yeah.
there were many, many Sundays that Doug and I were ripping in like 5 minutes before the show started, like off a 6-hour drive. Like, come on, let's do this for 3 hours.
Yeah, it was.
No.
But no, we've talked about that a lot in the last couple, like a year and a half. We've been back at this for 2 years now, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have like 30 shows we've done. Just do the math on that one. Like, oh my God, these are the laziest people in the world. But
they're
yeah,
We're
Worst
fun.
podcasters in the world.
It's quality over quantity, right?
yeah. I don't know. Some people think it's really good. I have heard like, oh my God, you guys, it's just like you guys are just drunk all the time. I'm like, yeah.
Well, yeah.
100%.
Were they saying that negatively?
Yeah.
Well, that's their
And
problem.
we take it as a compliment.
No, I'm okay with it. No,
It's like, hell yeah, we
We're
are.
at our best.
and I'm okay with that. I really am. Like we were talking about that earlier. Positive and negative reinforcement. I don't let it affect me either way now. I just kind of go, yeah, you like it, great. You don't like it, great. Don't matter to me. So, you have to. Me and Coy were talking about that earlier, and it was something I heard earlier today. Just some interview I was listening to while I was just getting ready, and this gentleman basically said, he's like, somebody's here. If you put yourself out there, you're gonna take shit.
Well, right.
About
You're gonna take
absolutely
shit.
people in
You
this
know,
room.
you could be
Yeah.
the best ever, and someone's still going to give you
You
shit.
and I are going to be like cuddling in the corner over here.
What were you saying, Becky?
Like,
Sorry.
I say, well, you could be the best ever, and there's going to be somebody that bitches about it. You know.
No,
There's
yeah, and
just
that's
no pleasing
fine.
everybody.
And that should be totally cool. You should be able to enjoy that and just have fun with it. You know what I mean? Oh, we have more guests.
We do. More people have entered the room.
Just talking to the mic.
Just
All right,
talking
so
to
I'm
the
gonna
mic.
do
Well, it's
it.
just who you are, and then we'll go from there.
Look, they even have tails
Go ahead.
inside.
Yeah, go ahead.
Felicia Pittman from Until Dawn podcast.
Coy Pittman from the Until Dawn podcast.
That was a bit more formal than I. That's all right. That's cool.
No, it worked. We had a comment on our podcast on the iTunes, and it said, like, I enjoy the podcast. It's like, I like when you can tell that Cody's tipsy. And I was like, you're the only one. But that's all the encouragement I need.
Scott had a weird
Keep it
comment
going.
that someone said they liked when they heard the tinkering of his ice cubes in his drink.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I guess probably
That's like
ASMR
some
for
of
them
those
or
sensory-
something.
You know what I'm talking about? Like,
Was
It's a
that?
very soothing
Yeah.
sound.
it's the same, but same. I'm just saying.
There was a game years ago with Ghostly Talk. We had some people that actually they told us they used to play this game where they would do a drinking game, and while they listened to our show. This is when we were like a family friendly show back in the day. where
Right.
We were really clean. Everything was clean, and there was no partying or anything like that. But they actually had this game. I think one of the things was what they heard when they heard because we always used to smoke in the studio back in the day. So when somebody heard a lighter
Yeah.
pop, you had to do a shot.
Take a shot.
Yeah, or and it was like a bunch of. That was the one I
When
do
they
remember.
heard the 2-liter bottle open.
Oh yeah, Doug's
Unbelievable.
famous. Yeah, because Doug was addicted to Diet Pepsi. So they hear the that you had to drink. And this guy's like, yeah, we do a drinking game every Sunday night and get hammered listening to your show. I'm like, and that's fun stuff too. And that's a kind of the cool idea, And going back to what we were talking about, that's what podcasts I think are for. 'Cause
Absolutely.
you're
Absolutely. They're for entertainment. Bottom line. No matter what it's about, you want to be entertaining, and people listen to it to be.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think podcasts come in all shapes and sizes. Like, yeah, entertainment, I think is going to be your number one thing. But I think there are some that are very educational.
Well, absolutely.
That are serious.
Not
ours. And that's again going back to that point. Like podcasts come in all shapes and sizes, and like we talked about that earlier, Coy, where like. Troy said it last night. If you don't like what I'm doing, then go write your own book. Go do your own podcast.
Your own podcast.
Right.
And in this day and age, and we talked literally. We talked about this at the bar earlier.
The other time we were drinking.
Yeah.
Earlier in the day.
You can do that now. And I don't care if it's about the paranormal or about beer can collecting or about weird pictures on walls, whatever it might be.
I actually dig that.
It is a really cool picture. I like that.
I'm normally a snob about hotel room art, but I dig that.
But you can do something out of it.
Picture of cardboard up close in the bathroom if you want to check that
Right
out.
on. I dig that.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Go look in the bathroom, and it's just an up
I
close
really like
Of
this.
the corrugated cardboard.
corrugated cardboard.
Nice.
That's
I
all
can
it
get
is.
behind that. I
Black
can
and
support
white.
You don't like
Turn it black and white and anything's art.
Oh no, I saw that. What the fuck? I saw that earlier. I was like, what the fuck?
Cardboard.
What is that thing?
Cardboard.
Why is it cardboard? in the bathroom?
Hey, we've talked about us enough. Let's talk about the others.
We're just talking about podcasts.
No, let's
No,
talk about
we've talked
people.
about Ghostly Talk a lot.
Oh, yeah?
People are more interesting.
Well, then I'm going to shut up.
Yep.
Corey, it's on you. The floor is yours, bro.
Bonnie, take it.
Oh, I said Cody.
Go.
Cody, go.
He just now I have to talk. I'm going to shoot.
Go.
Thinking juice.
Well, no, okay, let's yeah. We just met we all.
Actually,
I talked to you guys 2 nights in a row. I didn't know you did a fucking
here's what I
podcast.
want
What the hell, man?
Scott, shut up. Here's what I want you to start with. Amber asked him when we were outside how he got started in this and how he got started with Troy.
Good story.
Tell it, because it's a great story.
Good story.
All right. So,
Speak up.
no, it's not that dramatic.
From high school.
Yeah. So
He was cruising to school.
he had a van.
And you made him show you the candy first, right?
Well, yeah, I'm not
Okay.
a fucking
All right.
tramp.
All going straight though.
I hope so.
That's all right. I'll save you a spot.
We'll all be together.
So Troy. So my best friend and I back in the day, we lived near a school called St. Mary's, and we used to wander around there and cause havoc wherever we could. It was kind of by Mineral Springs Mall in Alton.
Okay.
And Troy had a bookstore down there, and I was about 9 years old. And we wandered into this bookstore, and it was unlike anything I'd ever seen. There were fucking books about monsters and ghosts and like all this cool shit.
It just
Yeah,
made me feel really old.
I mean, this was 19 years ago. Yeah, so it was a long time ago. I can't count, but
Math.
You only have one
It's
shot.
like he's trying to count my
Well, no, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, we've been
One-
at
one
we've been at this.
shot.
We've been at this since this
one
morning.
shot in the last 10 minutes. So I bought this book called The Field Guide to North American Monsters
Yeah.
or something, and it had the Bigfoot Stetson, or whatever that photo is, on the front of it, and I loved it.
Patterson.
There you go,
The Patterson.
that one,
Yeah.
and super legit. So I got that book, and then I was about 16 or 17 when I went to Troy's walking ghost tours,
Yeah.
and then just like a year and a half ago, I was trying to come up
2
with
years.
no.
Just agree.
A little
The best
over
thing
2
you could do
years.
is just
Not
agree.
You
talking
did the
about-
neck thing I told you about. You're doing it right now. Stop it.
Hey, I'm gonna.
Oh my God! Cut it out. You creep me
I'm
out.
gonna end this shit. I'm not talking about when we start dating. I'm
Okay.
talking about when I came up with the idea for the podcast.
Okay.
Slowly roll.
Flashback for a minute.
Anyway,
Over
All
2
right,
years
Cody.
ago.
All right.
so I came up with this idea for a podcast. I was like, I wanna learn about my hometown. You know, the quote unquote most haunted, whatever, all that
Yeah.
shit. And I realized I drive by these places like McPike Mansion all the time, Mineral Springs, and I know more stories about people that broke into these places than I do the actual history of these places. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
we don't know anybody that's done that, but we've all done it. And so I decided I wanted to like learn some history about this. I said, okay, who better than the man who wrote the book Haunted Alton to teach me about this? So
Yeah.
came up with a cold email, and I built AmericanHauntingsPodcast.com, built the website, stole Troy's logo, photoshopped it, everything.
Shit, really?
I didn't make it. I mean, it's public, but nobody knew the domain
URL.
yet. Yeah, the URL. So built all this shit, and I was like, I'm trying not to creep them out, but like I want to show them that I'm legit. I tried to
You're
find that.
trying not.
I
All right,
wanted to
keep
I
going.
didn't
I
want
don't
to
know.
be like.
chloroform, Troy?
This is
Yeah.
ambition.
I didn't want to be like, hey man, you want to do a podcast? I want to be like, look, I'm serious about this.
I want to have your baby.
Yeah.
No, no.
Bonnie got me pregnant.
I mean, yeah, we were trying to get into your family, and so I built this website, and I was like, hey, here's what I can do. He has
Yeah.
I'm adopting him.
100 and I'm expensive. 124 books or whatever, but he had like no audio. He'd been on your podcast, a couple other podcasts. That was it. So I hit him up and I was like, hey, I think this would be really, really fun.
Yeah.
We can get your stuff out there, help you sell more books through this, and I can just learn about the history. It's a win-win. I tried to make it a no-brainer for him. Got an audience with him. We went out to lunch, and that was really 80% of the battle, was just getting in front of him. I knew I could convince him. And we met, hit it off, went to a recording studio, recorded some episodes, decided we wanted to be more mobile, so we went and did it ourselves. And it's been painstakingly slow process of learning how to do audio, well, but Yeah,
I
now we
really
have,
hated that you don't tell the ambient story.
and now we have 25 episodes.
The ambient
And-
story.
He told it to us.
We heard that
He
part.
told it to us.
Okay, so if you take Ambien and you don't go to sleep, you start to trip, and it's great. And that's when I came up with the idea.
Thank you.
Dude,
Welcome.
no, okay.
It's awesome.
I don't.
Sorry.
I've never taken
You
Ambien.
can totally.
However, I do have this thing. I think we all have these personalities where I do have like Scott, clean cut, sober Scott, and then I do have drunk Scott.
I've never met the
Yeah, not this weekend. Drunk Scott has some really rad ideas, and I've actually planned vacations as drunk Scott. I've done. Bonnie, you were a part of one.
Yes, I
When
was.
when I get I get cars from work every once in a while, like really like Corvettes and cool shit. And so I was getting a Corvette from work, and I'm like, I was like drinking with my neighbor, and we were getting just messed up in his garage, and I'm like, I got the greatest idea. And like I planned out like this whole big I had to I got to do a road trip with this car, right? Do something.
Yeah.
And so I planned this entire thing, and like I actually went in the house and wrote down like sober Scott, this is drunk Scott.
Right.
Here's what's going to happen here. You have to figure this out tomorrow when things are, a little more leveled out. And I did it. So I know what you're talking about,
He calls me up on or he sends me a text on like a Tuesday. And he's like, what are you doing Wednesday and Thursday? And I'm like, I don't know. He's like, you want to go to Indiana? Sure. Because
Nice.
apparently Drunk Bonnie was planning her week too.
I didn't tell, that was the, not to totally usurp this, but the best part about that trip was I didn't tell her what I was picking her up in.
Oh,
Nice.
Like, I'll come get
I'm
you.
like looking
Nice.
for his little like pill bottle fucking rinky dink car. And he pulls, Scott, your car's a piece of
I'm a man.
And he pulls up. And a vet, and I walk outside.
Okay,
and I'm
fine.
like,
You don't like my
what
car, then you have a
the
fun
fuck?
walk back home. That thing got us here, dick.
But it's not a Corvette.
I don't want you in the car. Yeah, well, yeah. Let's just, I come rolling up. I come
Okay, now
rolling.
you can continue.
no. I mean, that's pretty much
That was
it.
my bad.
I know what you mean, though, because I wake up all the time the next day, and I've like whiteboarded out all this shit, and I'm like, shorts for cats? Like, what?
That would be awesome.
Come up with ideas, but this,
I'm on board.
for the 99 that didn't pan out, this one did, and we have like 25 episodes now. We're at 120,000 downloads, and I have this problem where every like hobby or side project I have, I ruin it by trying to make it a business and make money.
Don't do that, man.
And this one I haven't. I've tried as hard as I can to not, and it's been the most successful one. So it's great. And like I said, nobody's telling us what to do. We don't have to answer anybody. The only sponsor I would take is Casper mattresses because it's kind of relevant. You know,
Nice.
You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
Other than that, no stamps.com, no fucking
Right, all that
food
radios,
stuff.
it's stamps.
No Blue Bonnet,
Dollar
yeah.
Shave Club.
No
No
Dollar
Squarespace.
Shave Club. Now we're saying it.
Jamagram.
Hey, don't use Dollar Shave Club because their razors are
Bullshit.
really good and they'll make your skin feel great.
No. That's bullshit, because I bought them and they're awful.
Are they?
Yes.
Well, good. Let's tell people that.
I bought them for
We're
me
spreading the
and
truth.
him, and
Don't
they're
listen to the Joe
terrible.
Rogan podcast.
That'll show 'em.
That'll teach them.
That's all he advertises.
Joe will fly down and beat the shit out of us.
Everyone in this room.
Yeah, he'll just wreck the room and walk out.
Wait for him to knock on the door because he just heard that.
That's delicious.
The message
No.
boards are lighting up right now.
So so you're 25 episodes in.
Yeah, and so we do have like a more set schedule because I want to put something out every other Tuesday. Like
Sell out. Fuck you.
Listen, I do want to put something out like clockwork, but that's only because I know that if I don't stick to that, I just won't do it. But however,
No,
we're not. We did 6 episodes in the Limp family, and my brain hurts after that. So for the next 2 months, I'm just gonna do this stuff from today will be an episode that comes out in a couple days.
Yeah,
In 2
yeah.
weeks, it'll be something else like that, and then we'll get back into the serious stuff later. But I don't have to do anything. So it's
No,
nice.
it's different for everybody. We kind of were talking about this whole idea of just kind of going random earlier and just we don't really keep any type of schedule. We just literally get together and say, hey, hey, why don't we do something this week?
And then we usually get in front of the mics and we're like, we're sorry that it's been
Yeah,
2
we were
months
trying to get
since
away
you
from
heard
that.
from us.
We always start every show off with an apology.
But see, that's the good thing about podcasts is if somebody's like jonesing for your show, they can listen to an old one. Get over it.
Yeah. But
I get what you mean, but we also get the opposite problem, which I'm not complaining about it, but we'll have people that message Troy all the time at like Tuesday morning, it'd be 9 a.m. They're like, "Where's the newest episode?"
Right.
Fuck
right.
you.
Kiss my
Yeah,
ass.
I'm working on it. Shut
Yeah,
up.
yeah. No, and I don't care if you're doing if you're on your first podcast or your 1,000th podcast. I personally believe you don't owe anybody anything. I don't care
Amen.
who you are,
Yeah.
you know, and
For sure.
I feel that it sounds I know it does sound a bit pessimistic and mean, but I do feel that way now about things. So the rare time somebody's like, "Ooh," and I'm like,
Yeah.
really?
Right. But I
You're that worried about our stupid little show?
And I agree
Shut
with you. I agree with you 100%. But I will also say that the people at this conference have come up to me and be like, "Hey, I really love your podcast. That means the world to me, and it makes me want to do more."
Yeah, you know.
Well, absolutely, yeah.
Well, and the best, you know, and to drive that point home for you, we had our, you know, we said earlier we were chatting in the other segment.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is all going to be really weird trying to get this stuff to like spot weld all this crap together.
Yeah.
But a lot of people came by and said, "Oh, I love your show," and I'm like, "Yeah, fucking hey, what's up?" You know?
Right.
They're like, "Yeah, I love the American Hauntings podcast." I'm like,
Yeah, she's like, there was one girl that was like,
yeah.
oh, well, I don't know, you guys were talking about Alton, and Scott's like, oh, well, how many years back? Are you listening to the archives? Well, you must be way back or something. And I'm going, that's not talking about our show.
Yeah.
And finally I said,
And I
I'm like,
laughed.
no, are you talking about the American Hauntings podcast? And she's like, well, yeah. And I'm like, not ours, Scott.
I thought you thought that.
Not ours.
Yeah, and I mean,
Not ours.
so it's obvious, you know.
Shut
That
up.
is unbelievable.
Go on to something else.
No,
We should transition. And
we were saying, yeah, we were talking about Troy. No, he's really good. He's, you know, Troy really has been one of the, I mean, over all the years, Troy's always been there. Like, Troy's always been there for us. He's always been rooting for us, man. And when we were like, well, nobody cares, and like, Troy's like, no, I care.
Troy's responsible
You got-
for doing this.
Yeah, he really, and yeah,
I
that's
wanna
been
pick-
totally.
We gotta pick Roy's brain on what got him
We're
started.
moving out of that. That's where we're going now.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, Troy is awesome, and you're lucky to work with him.
Yeah,
You really are.
No, for sure. He's the one that told me about your podcast actually, and that's when I started. I started the first episode.
God,
I
did you
listened to.
listen to it?
Yeah, it was great. Remember when I was listening
Subscribe
to
to
it
it right
to that podcast at like 1 a.m. and
You might want to listen to
room.
some of the old
And I
ones.
was like, they're interviewing
Yes,
somebody.
yes,
That was
yes.
their podcast.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was like, yeah, I'm
Drinking
gonna
game.
too. And then I took an Airbnb, and then
And we're back.
Oh, I gotta write that down on the
We're all over the place right now.
And then I took an Airbnb.
Yeah, me too. All right, I'm gonna refresh a drink, but then I have no idea how you all got started actually. So
Well,
I'll let you take over.
tell me,
I don't know
tell
how
us,
we got
man.
started either.
Do tell.
How did we get started?
You told me to do it?
Yeah, well, I do remember now.
That's
So,
how you get pregnant.
I listen to a
Four
lot of movie
kids. I'm figuring
podcasts.
it
Say
out.
again?
I listen to a lot of movie podcasts.
Yeah.
And so I had the great, like, I love watching movies. I'll do a podcast on watching movies. Well, then I didn't want to do it by myself. I was like, well, so I pitched it to her, and she's like, no.
Pitched it.
Yeah, I don't fucking think so. That's not happening.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, I gotta, if I'm gonna get her involved, I gotta, bring it in, some way to draw her in. So I'm like, we'll do a paranormal podcast.
Yeah.
And that's how I got her in.
Oh, okay.
And it was just,
I don't know.
no, you don't know. She doesn't know.
I'm making a drink, leave me alone.
And we just kind of went from there, just kind of figuring it out as we went along. We, like, all right, well, we need to lengthen this show up a little bit because we didn't know really what to say.
Yeah.
Like,
It
okay,
was
well,
like 10 minutes long.
yeah, they were like 10 minutes. Like, all right, well, that was all of our content.
That's okay, though.
That's all it needs
And
to be.
so-
For some people, that's their
At the
attention
beginning,
span.
We try to like just talk back.
Yeah, we
and
try to
forth.
talk back and forth. Well, we don't
Well,
have
we live
anything to say to
together,
each
so-
other.
What do we say?
Yeah. So now we're like, save that for the podcast. We don't talk. We just live in silence, waiting.
We can't have a conversation without a microphone.
The thing with that, though, that's so cool is that even if it's 10 minutes long, that's cool. Like there's podcasts I listen to that they're just like 10-minute pops, man.
Yeah,
10-minute
sometimes that's
pops
all you
here and
need.
there.
Yeah.
And if that's where you want to go with it, that's cool. I don't know where you guys are going right now.
Well, we bumped it up. We went maybe like 45 minutes now. Yeah, we went up to 45 minutes.
No.
But we just like, all right, well, we're like, we'll add some like paranormal news to it. So we have like we made a little like catchy little segment with paranormal news, and we just keep checking away at it. We tried doing it on a schedule like them, but we can't keep up. So we're like,
Neither
we
can
haven't done one in like 3 months. So we kind of outdid you guys there.
We don't feel so bad now.
Yeah. So now we just getting back into it now.
Well, you guys have die-cut stickers. That's my
We do
favorite
have die-cut
part.
We need
stickers.
die-cut stickers.
Yeah, we
And
need
badass stickers.
And I don't mean to cut you off, but I do want to point that out. Like, you're like, here's a sticker from mine. I'm like, this is the nicest sticker in this whole place, man. This is awesome.
Yeah, pretty much.
This is really good stuff, dude.
And he's wearing a Warhouse hat, which I
That's
got excited
true.
about. I'm probably the only one at the entire conference that commented on it.
You know,
What
you're
is Warhouse? Is that okay? That's Daniel and Bailey.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
okay.
Daniel and
Yeah.
Bailey.
you're one of 3 people that have ever recognized the hat.
Ever.
Yep, I figured.
Ever.
I figured. Yep.
I like Daniel and Bailey. Rob
She's
Bailey,
my girl.
that's her husband,
Yeah.
right? Or is it Scott Bailey?
Rob
No,
Bailey.
it's Rob.
And that song I can do
He
with that.
has an issue with Rob Bailey's music and his demeanor. He's a lovable douche. That's what I call him. I know
He has
can
a
seem
song
kind of
called
like
"I'm a
egotistic-
Motherfucking Beast."
Ugh.
Hey, my son loves that song. He listens to that song every day before he
Your
goes to
son's
wrestling.
Thank you. Okay, well,
Right, yeah. And
I'm sorry, but Rob and Dana are a fun couple, and like they're fun. And she's my favorite bodybuilder girl.
I
I
didn't
love
say
her.
they weren't fun. I just said
Fun.
that song's kind of ridiculous.
And he has a cool hat. So there.
I'm a motherfucking beast.
Ugh. It
She
got
played in the car.
It got the
I got like
movie.
15 seconds. I'm like,
It did
turn
get-
it
did
off.
get the movie.
What movie?
With Jake Gyllenhaal, I forget
Southpaw.
what it was. Southpaw.
Oh.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that yet.
But you're really excited
like
about
that.
it.
It's Jake City.
though.
I just watched Donnie Darko like 50 times in a row again. That's Jake. Yeah, that's Jake. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pretty
Yeah,
rad,
just put
pretty
like
rad.
50 pounds of muscle on him.
Jake
Yeah.
Gyllenhaal.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a
He's
beast.
a little
man.
weasel dude.
No.
And
He was a motherfucking beast.
Yeah, he was. In that movie, he was.
There you go.
I'm gonna hashtag Rob Bailey in this episode.
Yeah, so he can fly down and beat the shit out of me too.
Maybe.
That's all I need. So you guys have.
You minimized
Oh,
it.
that's okay. This high tech equipment, this 20-year-old.
If it works.
So yeah, you guys haven't done a show since February.
No.
You're in big trouble.
I know.
You're gonna lose
Yeah,
all your
yeah.
numbers.
Yeah, no, we have people messaging us, asking us, are we
Who the
still doing the
fuck are
show? Yeah.
Well, that's good. You know, because
So, yeah.
because you know all the vitriol that I do throw out with things, I do like people to listen to our show. I mean, I've said, I mean, I go down that. I know personally, I'm like, look, I don't owe anybody anything. I'll do what I want. We'll do this when we want. But it is nice to hear when people say, "Hey,
Yeah.
man," you know, and that is a reality. I do say, I just said a few minutes like, I don't really get beat up whether people like or dislike what we're doing. But it's always nice. The reality is, you like to hear people say, "Hey, you know, I
Absolutely.
enjoy what you guys do. Keep it up," and that's what I think keeps a lot of people motivated. Like if nobody came to this conference, we don't like this conference, Troy. Do. Well, then Troy wouldn't do it no more.
Right.
He wouldn't be motivated. He wouldn't have the inspiration to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just a simple idea of what keeps people doing art and doing podcast or whatever it might be. So fucking do a show already, will you? For Christ's
I
sake.
know.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are busy because you guys have more kids than like Bonnie's family over here. And you weren't here for this conversation. You have like 4 kids.
Yeah, we have 4 kids.
That's a big family.
How do you find time to do anything?
No, we don't sleep.
How are you here right now?
Just if you quit sleeping, you have like
kids are in the
24 hours to do stuff. Like, yeah, I'll go like days.
Oh, I've
Just
done
not,
that.
Not sleep for a day or
That's
2.
another quote.
I've done that.
What is
Well,
the age range? Just curious.
All the way from 18 to 7.
Oh my
Wow.
god.
Yeah, we got and with 13 and a 10-year-old in the middle of that.
Oh God.
3 girls. So
Yeah, you're screwed.
Oh yeah.
yeah, and then it's just and the youngest one's the son. So
So he's a baby.
yeah, he is, and he just gets wherever the hell he
So
wants.
he's the one who's in trouble.
Oh, that'll
You're
make
ca-
him the
I'm like,
perfect
you gotta carry-
dating candidate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you have to carry the family name. Because I'm the only boy, you know.
He
So
told
I'm
me
like,
he's
you
never
know-
leaving. He's
Yeah,
never
but then he
leaving.
says stuff like he's never leaving the house. I'm like, no, that's not true.
You're
Like, I'm like,
Oh,
I'm
you're
counting. You're like,
leaving.
you're 7. I have 11 more years.
He's 70.
Really? You're giving him that many years?
Awesome.
Well, and he graduated high school.
You're like
we'll carry him
14,
along till
man.
then.
You're on your own, brother. Figure it out.
In third world countries, you already have a job and
Yeah.
a family. So.
When I was 15, I owned a house.
If you
What are
want,
you talking about, man?
if you want him to carry on the family name, just introduce him to one of my great nieces.
Yeah.
And you'll be
Bonnie's,
fine.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
You guys missed the whole. You guys.
You'll have like 47 grandkids. in a
Whoa,
week.
hey now, hold on.
Is that where we're at? Is that the number we're up to now? Is 47? Did you remember the other family that you have?
34.
Amber, you're right in front of the microphone.
Yeah, you missed the combo earlier. It got really dark.
Yeah.
It got dark, yeah,
And
at the dinner table.
We're not gonna revisit that
No.
on live. Nope, no.
It got dark. It got dark at our dinner table, and like an hour and a half.
It got super dark.
That poor waitress.
We shocked the shit out of our waitress
Twice.
multiple
You-
times.
Those ladies
Every
were so
time
nice.
it was my mouth running when she looked at our table and went,
Her eyes were like
Her
bigger than her
face
head.
was bright as red.
I have to say, I do want to point that out. The hotel we're at, the Best Western Premier, where Troy has his conference at. The staff, and
the staff in the bar and restaurant.
well, they're great.
Bar.
But one thing I want to point out is this is a lot. The staff, this has been the same staff for the last 3 years. We've been at this conference.
All the same people.
So that tells me one thing: like these people really like what they do here. They have to be getting treated really well,
I
also.
was gonna say they get paid really well.
Yeah, and they're really cool to us. Nothing's ever perfect. But I love coming here and talking to these people because they're fucking fun, dude.
Yeah.
They're really fun, and they like this conference too.
Yeah, dude.
They're excited. Yeah, and they're like, this is my. I should have asked what her name was because I've been talking to her for like 3 days now.
You talking about Amy? You talking about Amy the waitress?
Yeah. Oh, Amy.
Bartender.
Yeah.
The door, she has a name tag. Hello.
She
High five for the door.
she's doing the next thing again.
I'm
She's
just saying.
Welcome to mine.
You're right. No, you're right, sister.
Joy.
You're right.
Joy.
I know. I'm not gonna forget her name now. But you busted my nuts.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
You're
She's
welcome.
excited as we are.
Well, she
though.
said it literally. She's like, well, you guys weren't. Unfortunately, you guys missed out on the hijinks for dinner.
And
But
it
she
was
did
good
say, she's like,
stuff.
I love
It
you.
was.
She's like, I this is my favorite time of the year is when this conference comes to this hotel because and because we're just I guess we're fun people.
Oh, a bunch of weirdos descend upon her workplace.
Right. It
And
makes her
get
feel
drunk
normal.
and tell the most random fucking
Yeah.
stories.
And also, they made her wear a shirt with a Ouija board on it. So.
And
No,
one,
she wore that. She put that on.
and one
Oh,
of the
nice.
I
people,
watched her.
Oh,
We saw her
multiple.
change into that. She walked into the
Whoa.
cooler and no, not
Your
literally.
dinner was definitely
okay.
different than ours.
And
This
yet
happened
you
earlier.
still don't know her name.
And
Bastard.
and one of the people that worked here won Renee's Ouija board table.
oh, really?
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Nice.
That's
That's
awesome.
She worked here.
I think these conferences. We're no stranger to these conferences, and
At all.
they're fun. I mean, you get a lot of, and like you said, Amber, you get a lot of weird people under one roof, and these aren't,
Mixed
we've been now
alcohol.
over the years. I know we've been to some conferences that got fucking out of hand. Some shit got really bizarre.
We've been to some serious shit
Yeah.
shows.
Yeah, it's been ugly. But Troy and we've been working with
Usually
Troy on a lot of
we're
stuff for
involved.
years. That's
I'm
just
not
a
gonna
fan.
lie.
It's all good. This
Not
laptop's
gonna
older than Leah here. It is. Oh, the I got the eyebrows this time. Oh, I'm in
They
trouble,
are
dude.
completely drawn on.
This
You
I just called my laptop an eyebrow.
You also said laptop.
laptop. No, this conference is a riot, and the staff here is fantastic.
Yeah,
they really,
absolutely.
they take really good care of us, like down to the people that take care of the rooms. Like they're on it. Like anything we can get you? Yeah, more towels. Yeah, we need the entire room fumigated, please.
No, I described
Can you
the
do an exorcism?
I described the crowd as like Walmart at 3 a.m. with none of the negative comments.
That's extraordinarily accurate.
I don't know if that's a compliment.
I was gonna say I'm a little on the
been
fence
at
with this.
Walmart.
I gotta give it
I
to
don't
you
know
on
if that's
that
a
one. I have to.
I mean, weird ass people don't really know.
Well, when you come to a conference
But
like
we're
this,
not wearing like a bra as a dress.
I
He didn't
mean,
say us. He said as a whole.
Yeah.
here, keep going. I want
Alright.
to see where this goes. Keep going. Shut up.
No one here that I've seen thus far is wearing a duct tape bra, and we've seen that
We have,
before.
yeah. Oh, yeah, that girl. No, that's
Not a compliment.
we'll have that
Yeah.
conversation
Okay,
after
so
we're done
it's
recording.
accurate.
Oh, you'll die.
so it's actually.
Well, maybe we'll do a fuck her.
Yeah.
I'll talk about it.
Okay.
Moron.
Not this conference.
I do.
out in my head.
Kentucky.
Yeah, Kentucky.
Enough said.
One word.
Enough said.
Oh my gosh.
You get a really, really interesting cross section of people with these conferences, and you get some people that I guess, depending on your perspective of life and the idea of what is normal, you'll meet some people at these conferences that have a different outlook on things. it's up to you as a person, I think, to go, okay, to judge it wisely. You know, some people, when they study this stuff, they're immersed in it. Like, and I think they start looking at things differently. I have no way. I'm no psychotherapist or whatever. Are they crazy? I don't know. I don't think people are crazy because they have a different idea about something. If they're running around like throwing I don't know, like peeing on stuff, like that could be a problem. But
pushing people down the stairs.
well, we talked about that earlier.
And you and I spoke with the vampire earlier.
Yeah, that lady walked up, man.
She was.
She had the teeth and everything.
She had vampire teeth.
Yeah,
and teeth.
Do you know who they're talking about?
Oh, I know who they're talking.
And she was
you know
super
who they're
cool.
talking about.
Was she super pale?
No.
We kept
I
doing
thought
this.
she was Doctor Strange.
Whispering
Someone
doesn't
else
work
said that
well
to
on
you.
radio.
Do what?
Which one?
Purple.
Doctor Strange.
She was super cool.
Especially
Yeah.
when
She
the
was
mic
super
is
cool.
that far
She was.
away.
I would say that too.
We kept doing the mirror thing to her. She couldn't see her.
Just to check?
Yeah, we took selfies with her. She was really cool about the whole thing.
Nope, still see ya. You're not convincing me yet. But you get this really cool, interesting cross section of people at these conferences, and maybe they're not for you, maybe they are for you. But that's what makes these things very interesting.
Yeah,
is you get to meet some really.
And it's guaranteed you'll walk away with an interesting story to tell.
Well, yeah, and I've been saying that for years. I mean, it isn't always about how painful it could be on you. It's about the story you can tell on Monday when you're at work.
And I have so many stories from this weekend.
Like when you puncture your eye out. We talked about this a couple nights ago. When you puncture your eye out on a 200-year-old piece of metal. Yeah, it's not quite. Yeah, I'm not quite the greatest thing that can happen to you, and it's quite painful. I'm telling you from personal experience. But that Monday was fun. Like, hey, how was your weekend? Well, hey, let's tell you all about it.
Or when you get felt up by the guy that played Grandpa in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah,
You too?
Yeah. True story.
What?
I'll tell it later.
Oh my.
I think on top of what you just said about everybody, all these different, you have people that are just complete true believers. You have people that are like old school about it, but still everybody comes together.
Yeah.
And everyone gets along.
Yeah, they do.
You have strangers just walking up to you, talking to you about stuff. A guy talking to me in the bathroom.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, step on that landmine. I want to hear all about it.
But
Were your pants up at the time?
halfway.
All right.
It was the stall next to me. There was a divider.
Okay.
I mean, as long as there
I just want you to paint the picture.
Paint the picture.
Did he have a wide stance though?
He had a camera.
But no, I'm talking about. All right, okay, you win. We always talk about the wide stance. That was our travel thing.
The
Like
foot
Tom,
tap.
our friend, our friend Tom was no longer with us. That was our joke when we traveled. He used to travel with the show here, and we'd go to a bathroom at a rest stop, and they would always be like, "Hey, I want to test out my wide stance." And he's actually like start touching my foot. I'm like, dude, come on, you're still peeing. Stop it, man. Sorry, I didn't mean.
No.
You said the bathroom thing, man. We're gonna.
Oh, yeah.
You're in the lion's den. You're in the lion's den right now, dude. Look out.
My bad.
As you were saying, though. Sorry.
No. I mean, just everybody gets along. There's no arguing. You don't see anybody fighting out about anything. Everybody, it's always you always know when it's coming up, it's going to be a good experience.
Yeah, something to look forward to. You put.
And you make lifelong friends.
I
think family reunion.
And that's what, I think Troy and, I think anybody who's going to do something like this, this is people, it is a reason for people to gather together to have the, the same interest and stuff like that.
Right.
So what, if people are bitching, I'm trying to formulate ideas now and I'm starting to have a hard time.
And you lost it, so let it go.
No, to your point, it's nice. You get people together who have like-minded people under the same roof. Yeah, it should be.
And there's several people that it's the only time of the year you see them. You see them every year at the conference, and that's the only time you see them.
Yeah, Becky, this is our time of the year to see you.
That's the last time we saw you.
Summer camp.
Yeah, it is like summer camp for weirdos.
There you go. Yeah, that's the perfect
I
example.
want a shirt that says that next year.
Summer camp
I'm talking
Yeah,
to
there's
Troy.
a new
I
Go
want
See
a summer
Talk shirt
camp
right
for
there.
weirdo shirt.
Yes.
We're broke.
Camp
If I forget
American
Can't make anything.
Hauntings. Camp
We'll
American
probably forget
Hauntings.
too, but it's on
It's
record.
and then on the back, it's going to say
Yeah.
staff.
Yep.
What was
I
that?
can't help the hairful thing. I'm sorry, that's a reflex.
No, you're good. You're cool. But no, these things are really fun. And, to that point, it brought, the people all in this room. And we're kind of, I don't know if I talked about this part. Yeah, we're kind of in the ghostly talk room right now. You're
Dun,
the,
dun,
the,
dun.
the ghostly, the den.
We're totally in the
The ghostly talk den of
100%.
iniquity.
The mobile
And we all talked about this earlier and said, hey, maybe we should and there is a thing called swap casts, and I'm like, let's do it like a swap cast. Like, just everybody come in here and we got one mic sitting here. Yeah, it's not nearly as.
And we're all drinking.
Yeah, we're all drinking.
This is
But
a
literally,
really good summer camp.
I said this earlier. I'll say it again. We met like at Tony's Thursday night.
Yeah.
And hey, what's up? I don't know, just growl, grunt, do whatever.
Yeah.
And then
that normal guy intro.
Yeah. And then we end up now we're in this room talking shit because I didn't know until today that you guys, like I said, you came up with your sticker and I'm like, fuck, you got a podcast too? Why don't you just say something, man? So, and that's what these conferences do. They put people in the same room together to talk about ideas.
Right.
Not because I was drunk. It was yeah. Don't listen to me. Keep talking.
Well, it's tough to talk when you got people in the background.
Fuck off.
No.
Well, we're almost at an hour. Do we
Having a
want to
side
go? Do we want to
conversation.
keep it?
Okay, well, no, that's
Because I can summarize some of the highlights that I've put. The Haunted American.
no, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that on our own.
No. This is important because this is what we gathered from this particular conversation. Okay.
All right, Bonnie, shut up.
Being at the
Fuck off.
Shut up.
Being at the 2018 Haunted American.
Your husband's
Conference.
talking right now.
Oh, that's right. Amber and I got married this weekend.
Oh, we did.
In jorts.
In jorts. That makes it legal. Yes. Okay, so here are the 4 highlights that I took from this particular discussion. If you quit sleeping, you have 24 hours to do stuff. Like being at Walmart at 3 a.m. but without the negative. And then I took an Ambien. And summer camp for weirdos. That's
Do you have highlights from dinner? Because I
No.
I'll type those up when I get home.
That'll have to be part 2.
I was sober for
We'll
that.
just go down and you'll correct it.
Yeah, I will. I was sober for that.
Well, yeah, we'll cap this thing right here. I think the idea is with these conferences. Oh my God, I'm gonna throw her out of the window.
Fuck off.
You remember the old days when there was actual real TV sets you could throw out a window? I miss those days.
rock and roll.
Leave it like you found it.
What'd you say?
Leave it like you found it.
Yeah, that's the old saying. We'll tell you about that after that's some hilarious shit. But no, thank you guys for coming here and hanging out.
Our
just
pleasure.
taking time and hanging out and having some drinks with us and talking about, it's really, and I'm really, it's nice to meet you guys. Because, one thing I do want to say real briefly, like we've been talking about the technical aspects of podcasting now. And I have to say, in all honesty, you guys taught me some really crazy shit. That's like good stuff. And literally, you guys both know we kind of had separate conversations, but I can say to both of you now, I'm scratching my head going, man, I'm really behind when it comes to doing this stuff.
Unfortunately for you now, you're part of the Ghostly Talk family.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Well,
Not to be confused with the Spiller family. It's not quite.
well, I'll put this out there, not to stroke your ego or anything, but you set the forefront. You
Nah.
yeah,
Oh,
you
Scott's
did.
head just got.
You did.
No.
You did. If you wouldn't have done it, we wouldn't have had the idea.
100%, yeah.
No, but well, no. Okay,
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, I just take it. Don't make me
First
laugh.
episode came out when?
Scott, just take it.
2002.
It's
There you
true.
go.
Yeah,
Just take it.
Yeah.
No, it isn't. But the thing is there's always gonna be people that do things, and
Well,
they
you
do-
did it first.
But
But
people,
Big
but
Money
people are
Becker
still
Brad's here.
Yeah.
I'm so happy. No.
That's my death
One of my
code.
doctor.
My whole point, though, and thank you. That's really cool. But
I love you.
And she's gonna do my makeup every day.
oh my god, like crazy.
She's gonna get your makeup too,
No, but I've learned a lot this weekend about doing this stuff because you do get into a rut with things, and it's nice to talk to people who are trying new things, actually keeping up with things. 'Cause I don't. So I have learned a lot of things, and that really means a lot to me. So I appreciate the time we got to spend, and we're going to spend some more time here, I think.
Bending our elbows.
You mentioned it, but you taught us a lot too, simply because some of the stuff that we have the technology do for us, you do manually, and so you taught me a little bit more about the stuff that I take for granted. I don't
Scott
know
does
about,
a lot manually.
Number one right there.
Speaking of exercising your elbow.
I was going to say, your one bicep is huge.
Strong arm.
But yeah, it's all
No, and that's what we talked about earlier, Cody. Like you were telling me, you guys both mentioned GarageBand. You guys both mentioned that, and I found that like eerily cool. And I'm like, okay, so what the fuck's going on? What am I doing here? And then when you started explaining to me, like, compression, and I'm like, well, I do all this stuff. I mean, I know what all this stuff is, but I kind of just do it all on my own. So maybe I have to start utilizing some tools here and make my life. I think I said it to you. I'm like, the shit you're doing right here can cut my work time in half. Why am I doing all this extra work, man? So it's interesting to talk to people who are doing things the right way, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know if it's the right way.
Updated.
It's
They've got tools
different.
we didn't have a decade ago.
Right.
Yeah.
So
why don't we call it a night here? We're not calling it a night.
It's probably whatever time it is. Troy and everybody should be back downstairs.
It's 10:30 Central
we're
Time.
on the first floor, so whatever. They should be somewhere over there.
So I don't know how
this floor somewhere.
to close this out. I don't know how we're going to do this. I'm calling this a swap cast because what my plan is with this thing is to take this file, whatever I do with it, and give it to you guys for your shows, for our show.
Oh,
and that's
it'll be
what
3 months anymore.
we got you a show. All right.
And that when
I
we
forgot
do
all
this again
about that
next
part.
year, we'll have another show.
12 months from now.
No, seriously, thanks for everybody, you guys hanging out with us. It's really cool to talk to you guys. I'm glad we all got to meet, and we're going to be doing some more.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's cool to talk to
Welcome
you
to
guys.
the family.
There's no escape.
You don't understand.
one of us.
It's like
One of us. One of us.
All right, so hopefully everybody enjoyed that as much as we did. And like I said, hopefully we'll be able to do that again next year.
Yes. That was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. Good times had by all.
You took my phrase.
I was waiting to see if you were going to say something. All right, so our next episode will be more of a regular episode.
It will be.
But in the meantime, you can find us
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Until Dawn Podcast. Email us at untildawnpodcast@gmail.com.
Right.
Ooh, also, we're on Spotify now.
Yeah, that's right. Completely forgot to bring that up on the last episode. So yeah, besides iTunes and all the other places that you can find the podcast, we are also now streaming on Spotify. So, and you don't have to have a premium account for it. You can just have a regular account, look us up, and you'll be able to find us on there. And if you also want to get in contact with us, you can give us a call or shoot us a text message at 913-703-DAWN.
All right. That's a wrap, right?
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Is that what they say in the radio biz?
I don't know what they say.
So until next time, I'm Coy.
I'm Felicia.
And this is Until Dawn.